Hello there, welcome to another week in our garden. Now autumn has arrived and we've had lots and lots of showers and wind, cold nights, so we need to start and get some of the harvesting of the late summer crops. We need to get those in now for before the rain washes them out. Now we will be harvesting today between the showers. We've had 1 or 2 showers this morning already, so we'll do that. But first of all, we'll start in the bottom greenhouse, and there's a few peppers I want to harvest while I'm down here. Now the peppers this year made some funny shaped peppers, but they're perfectly alright, so they'll be fine. There's a few red ones in these corners. Remember I bought these down from the other greenhouse and we did a temporary stand in here now. Once these are clear, I'll make a proper stand for them. We'll just snip them off. They might break, actually, no they won't. There you are. Weird and wonderful shapes, but perfectly alright. It's trying to grow another one, not that one. They're very, very nice peppers actually. So I'll take these. Now the yellow ones are nearly ready, so we'll just show you those. That's more of a patty pan. That's a patty pan pepper. Not quite ready, but perfectly alright. That'll soon yellow off in the house. So we'll get some picked. There's also a few of the chilli type. These are not the really hot ones, they're just ones I can cope with. So we'll harvest what we can from here, and then we'll go out and harvest some of those outdoor tomatoes. Now I've picked a few of the peppers that are ready. There are a wonderful variety of shapes in there. Now just as I go, as you can see here, the very late tomatoes are just beginning to start to turn, so we might have a little bit of bonus of some fresh tomatoes later on. Always a chance with the late tomatoes, they either do it or they don't, but it looks like we will get 1 or 2 anyway this year. But we've also got some outdoors. I'll show you them up at the top as we go up, that were set at the same time as these. But there was 5 for indoors and 5 for outdoors, to see how they do very, very late in the season. So it'd be interesting to see. Now I have started to pot off the winter lettuce and a few little gem just to put into a tunnel that I'm going to build this next week between the rain showers. The overwintering onions which are there, they're coming along nicely and quite alright. The pulling onions, they'll go into the tunnel with these, which are Spanish radish. Cut and come again lettuce are both doing nicely. And I got some plugs of some bedding plants and put those in, so we can take those up to the front of the cottage when we do the troughs. As you can see, the cuttings we took are standing well. I've now got 4 boxes done. I will carry on now until this side's nearly full of them, so we've got plenty of plants to take through, because remember, not every single plant will take, but they're looking good to say they've been a week. So we'll just pop out now. It's not raining at the moment, and we'll see if we can get some of those outdoor late tomatoes. Now as you can see, there quite a few red tomatoes showing, so we'll take the red ones today, and then I'll probably come down and pick the green ones tomorrow and ripen those either in the house or in the greenhouse. Now we've had 2 blight warnings this week, so it's time to get these tomato plants out of the way. Also we've got to be careful of those potatoes we put in for use at Christmas. If we get a blight warning, I have to nip down and pop them in the greenhouse where it's a little bit safer. So we'll get these tomatoes picked and then we'll show you how many we've got. Okay, these are the outdoor tomatoes we've just picked. They'll be taken up to the house and be washed and used for cooking. Outdoor tomatoes this time of year are not at their best for table use, but they're perfectly alright for cooking. Now there's 1 or 2 courgettes here that I'll take while we're down here. Also, it's just beginning to rain, so we'll get these and then we'll get out this rain, okay? I'm trying to lift them manually rather than cutting them. And quite nice. They don't want to be much bigger than that though, I'm afraid. For me, that is the perfect size, because when you cut them, they're nice and small and tasty. I'll just wipe the muck off it a bit. There you are. On the limits again, but quite usable. Now, while we're down here against the apple tree, I was just having a look. I have lifted one and they're not releasing yet, so the apples will give another week. Now we're in between storms, so we're going to pick one of these cabbages. These are autumn cabbages. A little bit early, but one is absolutely huge, so I'm going to lift that because it's actually fallen over and I've had to put a stake in to hold it up. This one here is the one I'm going to take. It's quite big. There's a little bit of fly on it, but it needs to come out anyway. As you can see, it had fallen over quite bad, so I do really need to get it up. I just knocked some of that off the root and then I'll cut it off and show you what it looks like, okay? Oh! I'll just clean it off a bit more. Put that knife away. You can see it's a fair old cabbage. I think there's more than the weekend's dinners in that one. That's started to split a little bit there, look, but that's fine. That's clean, so we're alright. Let's take this dirt off. There you go. The cabbage, autumn cabbage. It's very, very heavy. I've just taken the cover, neck cover, off the beetroot. Now, I've never known such a bad year for damage from mice as what we've had this year, whether it's because of the weather and they've multiplied faster. But normally we have a little bit of mouse problem living in the countryside. But this year it's been horrific. They really have done a lot of damage to the beetroot. So what we've got left, we will try and harvest the best of, and what we can't use we'll have to put through the compost bin. Now the other pest that's been in here are the chickens, because the chickens absolutely love beetroot tops, and the net got blown up with the wind and they've been in, especially in this area where they could get, and they've nibbled it a bit, but that's fine. We'll get them pulled and see what they look like. The small ones tend to be okay, look. There's an odd bit of a nibble, but Diane will sort that out. If you look here, look, that's the mouse damage, completely eaten through. Terrible. Never known it that bad. I'm rejecting the very, very small ones as well. We don't want those now. We just have to take what we can, I'm afraid. And you can see here my assistants are arriving now, look, to help me pick them. If there's usually 2, that means there'll be a few more in a short while. I'll just harvest what we can and then I'll show you what we've got, okay? Now there's the bit of beetroot we've been able to pick. I have rejected far too much beetroot this year. We're going to have to put a cage around it next year, I think. Right now we're between showers, so we'll just show you what we've harvested today. Now there's the tomatoes, the late outdoor tomatoes, done quite well, quite pleased with them. The last of the courgettes, I do believe, and then you've got the peppers that are all misshapes, but they're all very tasty. Now there's that huge cabbage that's going to take us several days to eat, I think. And then the last of the beetroot that the mice have left for us. And then the sweet corn, but we've actually got the squirrels eating them now, so we're up against everything this year. Hello there. Now we were rained off yesterday, terrible rain yesterday and wind. But it's dried up nicely today and it's lovely and warm. So we decided to come down and lift one of the leeks that are in the tunnel just to check to make sure we haven't got any problems with the leek moth on them. And we also want a celeriac, and then I'll also show you there's a little bit of work to do on the celeriac, so we need to get that done before winter. Let's open the tunnel up and have a look how these leeks are fared. Now the leeks we covered up this year because we had problems with the leek moth, and we won't know until we lift one to see whether there's been any damage. I hope not, because they do look well. But let's dig one and see. We'll take this nice one at the front lot and then we'll see what it looks like when we got it down. You have to bear with me because I'm one leg digging at the moment. They're in well. There she comes. Now if I can lift it out and we can have a look. I just take the fork. Oh, that looks brilliant. Let's have a look at it. And it looks good at the moment. I'll just take some of the roots away with the trusty trowel. It's very sticky and very wet, so you have to bear with me while we clean it. I think really we need some water on that to clean that. Let's skin it back and have a look. See if there's any problems with the moth. And I think we can safely say, looking at it, the leeks grown in the tunnel have no leek moth on them. Normally you would see lines on here where the larvae is burrowed down into it, but there's none at all on there. Look, that's a bit of root there, look. That is good. I'm very, very pleased with that. So it was well worth putting that extra compost underneath and growing the leeks under this mesh. Very, very pleased. At last we've got a leek. I'm just going to have a look at the celeriac. It does want some work doing to it, so I'll show you what you have to do this time of year. And remember, this will want strawing down when the bad weather comes. So get some barley straw in. Now the other end to the leeks I had a bit of a space, so I put a few of the celeriac in this tunnel just to see how it would get on. So we'll have a look now and see how it's fared. Now as you can see, they've fared quite well in the tunnel. There's an odd weed or two in there, but I'm afraid I haven't been about much this year. There's a little bit of whitefly coming off them, but that's not a problem with the celeriac. Now what we need to do, I'll harvest one first and then I'll show you what we have to do. Now celeriac are weird and wonderful roots, but if you cook them in the winter and mix them with your potatoes, etc. Absolutely beautiful. One of my favourite winter veggies. Again, I'll just get the knife and take some of that off. So I'm going to do, I'm just going to cut these roots, save lifting all that soil. Again, it's been raining that much, look, it's very, very heavy. Just cut and clean that off a bit more. I think it'd be better once we got it up to the shed and we're going to wash. But as you can see, it harvests quite well. We'll take those bits off at the shed. So that's the celeriac. I'll dress that at the shed and show you it finished dress. But in the meantime, there's something we need to do to the rest. Right now, as you can see, there's all this growth that's coming off the celeriac. A lot of it's fallen over. So what we do this time of year, believe it or not, we take all this off. Just go around and just leave the top bit on. Yeah? Just let me show you. Good for composting though, don't waste it. We do every one like that. So if you go around, clear all the bits off like that, and then they grow better around the top. See, that one's a bit broke, take that one off as well. I'll just do this one as well. You can see how overgrown and messy it is in there. So what we do, just grab them and rip them off. We won't pull them out the ground, I don't think, but do pull them off. I'll just clean right round it. It gets rid of all the bits and bobs and keeps the slugs down as well. Take that off while I'm there so you can see. That one can come out. There you are, can you see those two? Yeah. That's how you need to get them this time of year. And remember, they will want straw putting around them for when the weather changes. So get your barley straw ready and then you can just come down and pop it on. There's a few in the next tunnel as well for me to do. Now, that's a little job that I can hobble down here and do one morning while it's quiet. Now, while I was fastening the mesh back down, I actually found the label for the celeriac. It's asterisk, it's a F1. Now, while I'm down here, I said she'll take a few more of the pulling onions or spring onions. Now they are beginning to get a bit big and I have reset some more, but obviously we need to reset again. These are guardsmen and they'll go quite happily through the winter. We'll just lift this group at this end. They look a bit smaller. The larger ones she'll use later. Just take a bunch when you're doing the onion, and we'll try and shake the mess off. It's going to be difficult today because it's so wet. Plenty of worms, no? All the rain's brought the worms to the surface. Right, I can't clean those anymore down here without stripping them. I do need water rushing through them. As soon as we get them to the shed, we'll wash this off. Try and leave the worms behind. We don't want those. There you go. We'll get when you put them under the water, they come apart quite easily. Now, this is what we've harvested with you today. Not much, I'm afraid, today, but we had quite a bit yesterday in the rain. There's the spring onions, the guardsmen, very nice. That's the leek that we've grown under the mesh, which, as you can see, was very successful. I just hope the rest are like that. We'll have no problem at all. And then good old celeriac, very good winter food. Now that'll be it for this week, and there's some very grey skies coming across, so it doesn't look very promising for doing any more work out here today. I will hobble down maybe tomorrow and do that celeriac, and then we also need to next week pick those apples. I think they must be ready by now. We'll have a look at those when we make that decision. Now, as I say, that'll be it for this week. Many thanks for watching. Thank you for subscribing, we do appreciate it, and hopefully we'll see you next week. Bye now.